We are so excited to welcome you to the first renderings of the Joplin High School Franklin Technology Center for our new building. The first picture here is an outside picture that has 3 stories, and it also has some interior walkways and exterior walkways, which we'll be sharing about a little bit later. This particular picture is the picture of the front entry for Joplin High School. Franklin Technology Center also has an entry on the back side. This is actually looking at the school from what would be 20th and Indiana. So you can kind of see that on the front side it looks like a 3-story building, but I would want you to know that on Grand Street the building looks more like a 2-story building because it's embedded into that hill just a little bit there. You'll see that there's some indoor and outdoor walkways. This is actually the walkway that connects a majority of the school to the auditorium component of the building, and you can see that students will be able to walk either outside and get a little fresh air between class, or if it's raining and it's a nasty day, they'll be able to walk inside on those walkways that are connecting the 2 floors to the auditorium. You'll also notice that there's lots of green space, and that openness comes right into the building. You can see that there's lots of windows. This is actually the entryway to the high school. If you were to come in during the day, you'd have to use either the entryway at the bottom downstairs on the east side of the building, or you'd come in the west side of the building coming in upstairs. But it's a secure entry. One of the things that we've worked really hard to do is to make sure that we can take this large campus and let folks be spread out, but also maintain security. In the old high school, we had some struggles with those things like the doors locking and all of that, and there's a lot of planning that the architects have put into how in the morning we can fill this building with lots of kids in lots of ways, and they can enter in a lot of different places. But once school starts, we can close that down and we can be sure that the folks who are coming and going are coming by the office, which is what you see kind of behind the blue there. That's a glass that would be near the office, and just a real grand entry that we can use. And I think it's a place where we can show off some of our old stuff that bring back from the old high school. So a nice, wonderful way to get into the building. As we continue on, this is kind of the corridor. In the building, you can see that there's a connection of several buildings together. And the reason that is when you see the picture overall, there's like little fingers out, which is ways that we've brought in daylight to the classrooms. But this hallway connects all the way across the whole building, from the commons and the gym all the way to the auditorium. And so there's a hallway at 3rd floor, there's a hallway at 2nd floor, and then there's an outside walkway down on the 1st floor. And so it's a great way so we can move so many kids into different places without them bumping into each other and having that really tight hallway component like we've had in the past. This is an open area that opens down into, and you can kind of see how we can see through the building. It creates an opportunity for kids to connect with each other, but also allows us for some separation. The plan for the building at this point is that the 3rd floor would be mostly 9th and 10th grade classes, the core classes for those students. Then as we move down, the 11th and 12th grade core classes would be on the 2nd floor, and then on the 1st floor is where we have our career path labs. Kids will be mixing in that 1st floor, and then it'll be more separated, kind of like we are now. We've seen some benefits to having the students a little bit apart, and we want them to kind of stay together as one high school. We miss that right now. We also think that there's some benefit in having some kids mixing in the halls with their same age peers, and yet still being able to connect and looking in and out and down as they work through the building. The next picture that you see is a picture of the commons area, and as you can see, again, you can see a variety of levels within the school, and it feels very open and big. That's by design. We want this school to feel like it's big and not to have our students feel like that they're crammed in. We'll be serving a lot of students in this school. 2,200 is what we had in before, but as you add the sending schools from Franklin Technology Center, then it's even larger than that. But we want them to be able to spread out and to feel comfortable and to have lots of places where they can learn. The idea of the way school was, where you move from box to box to box all day, is not the vision we have for our new high school. And so we're designing the building to where students might be taking a class online and they can come and hang out in the commons area, or they might hang out in Eagle Alley. Eagle Alley, which, is a name that we've had in our old building, and a place that was a tight space that was a real great place to hang out. Now it's a big open space, which is a real great place to hang out. An area where the kids can enjoy company. They can also find a place to work, and they can do their own kinds of things, but they also have, again, a lot of daylight in, and it just feels so big and so open, and I think that the kids will find this to be a very inspiring space. As we continue on through the building, this is the courtyard. As we've thought about the design, we wanted to be sure that there was a place where kids could go and be outside. We've heard from them at the mall location with no windows that they really notice that. And so we want them to have the opportunity to breathe some fresh air during the beautiful days, and to get a breath of fresh air is something we like to do as adults, and we know our kids do too. And so there's going to be a big, wide, open area for the kids to be able to move about during the day. Then finally, here's a rendering of the gym. And as you can see, there's seating all around. It would have seating on all four sides. You can also see some pictures up above at the back. We're playing with pulling some old pictures from yearbooks and putting that up kind of like wallpaper. It used to be very expensive to do that, but anymore it's not so expensive, and so you never know. Some of those Joplin High School graduates still in our community might find themselves up in the gym, and who knows where else in the building, because we're going to try hard to capture some of our history of Joplin High School and Franklin Technology Center as we put that into the new building. We want to find ways to have those touch tones and to connect back. We are so excited about the future of Joplin High School and what it's going to bring. We think that it will be able to serve our community for many years. We've designed in flexibility so that we can change with the times, but also to be able to provide quality education that prepares students for their career pathway.